So yes, we just came from the Arc System Works US live stream. So in the Japanese stream last week, even though they kind of memed us, they did give us a couple of small details about what they were doing. Namely that they're adding a faultless defense macro, and they're fixing a bug that has been very commonly complained about by many players, about dashing, the backdash bug with the dash button, right? So this is the first time I'm gonna see the first clip of the next Guilty Gear patch. All right, this is live reaction. Ready? Whoop. Here comes Soul, Unhappy Chaos. Ooh, is there... Okay, I have two ways to interpret this. One is that they added an additional level of slowdown. Okay, maybe it's three things. Like I said, either there's a new counter hit level, a new one, or they modified level 1 counter hits, or they made it so certain level 1 counter hits have that effect. Or the other one could be that there's a special rule on crouching counter hit. Maybe there's actually a bunch of ways you can look at that. The main thing is that it's definitely slowdown that we saw. So right now you can't do that, right? One thing that about this version of the game is like, and this is by design, and it's something that I overall like, is that your reward off mashing is usually pretty low. But the big problem is that it's not evenly distributed by character, right? So characters like Soul, Mei, Leo can pretty consistently get knockdowns off mashing, and in the super extremes, like characters like HC, you know, you get full combos off these for mashing, right? So this is like a 6-frame mash. Okay, I missed that, but that's a wall break, right? That's like the most extreme version. So there's some characters who, you know, you got your Milias of the world who get like 2k 2G, doesn't do a lot of damage, but it leads into win conditions, so like it's pretty strong. This having whatever new rule on it definitely changes things quite a bit. I find it interesting that they use Soul, because Soul, I feel like he already has pretty like good structures revolving around, like, because they showed this is +3, so like he already has like ways of getting good counter hit slowdown, you know. So I thought it was weird they showed Soul to show this, and it might have been better to show another character, especially a character that may not necessarily get so much return off this already. Where, I mean, like, this isn't a ton of return, but like the return's implied, right? Like you just get a hard knockdown, you get to pull up, whatever. But definitely an interesting one, and there's a lot you can extrapolate from it as well. So it's not going to be just about the attacker setting up offense, but there's also the reverse, right? So let's get a really good example of a character that has this type of situation. It is my own. Let's use Milia, and we'll get Lady Mei. So as you remember in 1.1, right, they gave every character had a 5-frame move. So when the game came out, not every character had a 5-frame move, and there was a situation where if somebody had advantage, like set up advantage on offense, you could create a really troubling, for lack of a better word, frame trap using command grab, right? So you could do like so if I do this right, so you see the punish, right? So my 6-frame will never win. This is something relatively new. Like the first time I saw this in an Arc System game was actually Grand Blue, this problem. But now it is fixed because Milia has a 5-frame 2P now. But the main thing is you get no return on this at all. You get, oh, I mean, if I can even get it. Apparently I am just a pro gamer, not a pro masher. There we go. I'm mashing for real. Yeah, so the point is just like you get very little return for this, as opposed to the reward that Mei would get for that, right? Or like if she hits your mash with like this, you know, I just pressed the buttons. I did 45%, right? So I feel like it has implications the other way too, right? So I'm defending against strike throw. I use my 2P. My 2P has some new rule that we don't really know, and I get like an actual combo off it. That would be something, right? And it would make it so that that thing is less of a problem. And you still have to think about like ranges and stuff. Like this is not as big as this, you know. But that would be a big thing on the other side too. I think there's also slightly maybe some more implications for neutral that are a little bit more subtle, for example. So let's take something like this. Okay, so you know, right now there are very few characters that get like really big bombos off this, where there are also not a lot of characters that get good return from 6P either. So with a new counter hit rule that we don't know off jabs, we don't know if it's going to be on everything, we don't know if it's only going to be given to certain moves, we don't know. I think there's a lot of things that could happen just based off this. Another thing that might be something to think about is that special moves also have the level 1 counter hit. Not special moves, I said that wrong. There are some special moves that have no return that have the level 1 counter hit. So this one is really close to my heart. So as you know, I am a serial Milia down player. By the way, if you think that, you are actually fucking insane. That shit is crazy if you think I actually downplay my characters. But one of the main issues I think that Milia has right now is that you have to use moves that don't have a lot of return. It's like a really serious thing. I think she's really mobile, and her mix-up is really strong, and she's really slippery and neutral. Like, I like all that stuff. But S-Disc, her low, which is one for disjoints that low crushes. This move basically has no return on counter hit because there's no slowdown on it. And similarly, Capel is like the same thing. There you go. So Capel is the same thing. So we don't know, again, if it's a change to level 1 counter hits period or if there's some new rule, but there's a lot to talk about from just one little clip, right? That's why I found it really interesting. Let's look at the second one that you guys sent to me. Okay, so one, you lied. You said it was a new fucking Gatling. Okay, so the other one is the Gold Lewis dash cancel. So this one is let me look at this again actually. Let's look at it again real quick. One more time. Here, this one's a little bit open-ended. We don't know what that means. We don't know if it means new Gatlings. We don't know if it means new dash cancels. I think in 1.1, the current version that we're playing, they might have given a couple of dash cancels, but I know the main thing they gave people is that, like, so Geo had this from the jump, right? Because she had this dash cancel, and when you dash cancel, you could BRC out of it, right? But characters who don't have dash cancels, so Mei has 5k, but she has 5k and Priv. Yeah, somebody uses Milia once again. I'm not saying she needs dash cancels, I'm just saying she doesn't have one right now, right? Milia does not have a dash cancel. So in 1.1, they made a change where you could do BRC drifts off this. You could do an in-place BRC too off this. So, I mean, the main thing that I feel like this tells me is just more offensive options, but I was expecting that anyway. So I feel like the dash cancel shows less than the 2P counter hit thing. The 2P counter hit thing I think is big and blatantly affects a lot of stuff, I think, especially depending on what they want to do with it. Where the dash cancel thing is just like, okay, characters are going to have more offensive tools, but I think we expected that anyway from a new season, right? One thing that has been a theme always in fighting games is that the initial version is usually the simplest version of the game, and they build on that over the years, add more characters and mechanics until we get the product that people usually remember. So when people think of Street Fighter 3, they don't think about Street Fighter 3. They think about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, the third version of the game. When people think about Guilty Gear XX, they don't usually talk about Sharp Reload or the initial version. They usually talk about Plus R, the last version. BlazBlue, BBCF2. No one talks about fucking... The last time you might have heard someone talk about CS1 was probably one of my YouTube videos, right? So we'll see. I am definitely looking forward to seeing who they give what to, and then also maybe more system stuff as well. Patch notes June 8th, and yeah, what are you feeling, chat?